Nearly 40% of independent repair shops flat out refuse certain cars. When repairs hit $12,000 and mechanics need factory-only tools, shops say no. $80,000 sedans end up stranded, luxury SUVs get scrapped, and owners are left with rolling money pits. These are the 13 cars mechanics refuse to touch in 2025. Avoid these nightmares. Stick around, I'll reveal the cars that mechanics say almost never break. Starting with number 13, we have the Chrysler Sebring, one of the most infamous sedans of the 2000s. At first glance, it looked like a family-friendly mid-size car, but dig deeper and it was loaded with problems. Mechanics groaned whenever one showed up, because the Sebring had some of the weakest engines Chrysler ever built. The 2.7-liter V6 was notorious for oil sludge buildup. Owners reported engines seizing before 70,000 miles, even with regular oil changes. A class action lawsuit was filed over this issue in 2007, and it stained the car's reputation permanently. Mechanics hated working on these engines because once sludge formed, the repair bill often topped $4,000. More than the car's resale value. The Sebring was also hammered with recalls. The 2007 model alone had 5 recalls, ranging from cooling system failures to electrical issues that could shut the car down while driving. NHTSA logged hundreds of complaints about stalling, steering problems, and airbag sensors failing. Mechanics avoided them because parts wore out fast, and customers refused repairs when the costs were higher than the car's worth. Even Chrysler's redesign in 2007 didn't save it. Consumer Reports ranked it near the bottom for reliability year after year. And if you think this was a disaster, the next car proves that small doesn't always mean simple. At number 12, sitting on the list, is the Mini Cooper. Looks fun and stylish on the outside, but under the hood, it's a mechanic's nightmare. Post-2010 models, especially those with the turbocharged 1.6-liter engine, are plagued with failures that bleed owners dry. Timing chain tensioner failures became so common that a class action lawsuit was filed in 2012. The repair often costs over $2,500, and when the chain slips, it can destroy the entire engine. Water pump failures were another big hit. BMW, who owns Mini, issued recalls in 2012 and 2015 for defective electric water pumps that could overheat and even catch fire. Consumer Reports ranked the Mini Cooper near the bottom for reliability, citing transmission, engine, and electrical problems. The automatic transmissions are another red flag. Many mechanics refuse to service them because they fail unpredictably, and replacing one costs $7,000 or more, often more than the car is worth. Add to that the cramped engine bay, and repairs take hours longer than most cars, driving labor costs sky high. Even loyal Mini fans admit the fun driving experience doesn't make up for constant shop visits. Many independent mechanics simply turn Minis away, knowing customers won't pay the staggering bills. But if you think small European cars are bad, wait until you see how one American compact failed just as hard. Coming in at number 11, it's the Ford Fiesta. Looked like a smart, affordable choice at launch, but starting in 2011, it became one of Ford's biggest headaches. The problem? The PowerShift dual-clutch transmission. This transmission was supposed to save fuel and feel smooth. Instead, it turned into a disaster. Owners complained about jerking, slipping, and sudden loss of power. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration logged thousands of complaints. A 2019 investigation found Ford knew about these issues before selling the cars. A class action lawsuit forced Ford to pay out hundreds of millions in settlements. Many owners got buybacks or cash compensation. Still, the damage was done. Repairs for the PowerShift often cost $3,000 or more, and even then, fixes didn't always last. Mechanics dreaded them because the design was flawed from the start. Consumer Reports ranked the Fiesta among the worst subcompact cars for reliability. Transmission problems overshadowed the rest of the car. By 2019, Ford dropped the Fiesta from the US lineup entirely. For mechanics, the Fiesta was a losing battle. Customers couldn't afford constant repairs, and parts failed again and again. Shops slammed the door on these cars, and they're still refusing them today. And if you think that's bad, the next brand proves that an entire company can sink when reliability falls apart. Rolling in at number 10, the Fiat 500 and Fiat brand in general. Fiat's return to the US market in 2011 was supposed to be exciting. Instead, it became a warning story. The Fiat 500 was small, stylish, and cheap to buy, but it quickly showed major flaws. Transmission issues were the biggest complaint. Automatic 500 models often suffered from failed clutch actuators. Replacements could cost $1,500 to $3,000, more than many owners wanted to spend. Consumer Reports gave the Fiat 500 some of the lowest reliability scores of any small car. Fiat also struggled with quality control. The 2012 to 2016 500 had recalls for faulty airbags, electrical shorts, and power steering loss. NHTSA received hundreds of complaints about engines stalling without warning. Mechanics avoid Fiats because parts are hard to get and repairs take extra time. The cramped engine bay means even simple jobs like changing spark plugs or coils take hours. Add to that low resale values, and customers walk away when told the repair costs. By 2020, Fiat sales in the US collapsed by more than 90%. The 500 was pulled from the market, and only a few models remain. For many shops, Fiats became a money pit not worth touching. And this is why you don't want to miss our breakdowns. Cars that look fun on the outside can end up draining wallets on the inside. If you're finding this helpful, make sure you hit like, share, and subscribe so you'll always catch our latest deep dives before you buy. But the next car proves that even popular European sedans can turn into long-term nightmares. Holding number 9, the Volkswagen Passat. It has a solid reputation in Europe, but in the US, certain models turned into nightmares. The older TDI diesels are the most infamous. In 2015, Volkswagen admitted to cheating emissions tests. The Dieselgate scandal involved over 480,000 cars in America, many of them Passats. VW paid more than $20 billion in fines and buybacks. But even outside that scandal, these cars were costly to keep running. TDI engines had problems with high-pressure fuel pumps failing. When they did, the repair bill often topped $6,000 because metal shavings spread through the entire fuel system. Mechanics hated dealing with them. Some newer gas models also struggled. The 2012 to 2015 Passats had recalls for faulty airbag sensors, steering defects, and engine stalling. Consumer Reports gave them below-average ratings for reliability, citing electrical problems and transmission failures. The dual-clutch DSG transmission was another sore spot. Repairs could cost $5,000 or more, and software updates didn't always fix the issues. Shops often turned away Passats because owners weren't ready to pay European-level repair bills. And once warranty coverage ended, costs piled up fast. Still, as bad as the Passat could be, the next lineup of SUVs takes repair nightmares to a whole new level. At number 8, no surprise here, the Range Rover and Land Rover models. Promise luxury and off-road power, but in the shop, they are known as money traps. For years, Land Rover has ranked near the bottom in reliability surveys. J.D. Power's 2023 study placed the brand dead last, with nearly 273 problems per 100 vehicles. Older models suffered from constant air suspension failures. A single repair could cost $2,000, and the system often failed again. Engines and transmissions were also unreliable. The 2013 Range Rover was recalled for transmission problems that caused the SUV to roll away even when parked. Electrical systems are another disaster. Owners report dead batteries, failed infotainment screens, and random warning lights. These problems keep cars in the shop for weeks. Mechanics dislike working on them because access is tight, parts are expensive, and repairs rarely stay fixed. Consumer Reports has flagged Range Rovers for poor resale value. A $100,000 SUV can drop to under $20,000 in just a few years, mainly because of repair costs. Many independent mechanics refuse to take them, leaving owners stuck with costly dealership bills. Range Rovers may shine in commercials, but in the real world, they drain wallets. And if you want the bigger picture, check out our video on the worst car brands you'll regret buying. Click the link above to get the full list of brands you should think twice about. And if you think SUVs are bad here, wait until you hear about a Chrysler creation that gave mechanics headaches for years. Sitting at number 7, the Chrysler PT Cruiser. The model looked unique when it launched in 2001, but it quickly became a problem car. Chrysler sold more than 1.3 million units, yet by the late 2000s, mechanics dreaded seeing them roll into the bay. The biggest issue was the weak build quality. Interiors fell apart, wiring harnesses failed, and rust showed up early. Consumer Reports ranked the PT Cruiser at the bottom of its class for reliability. Owners reported overheating, head gasket failures, and constant suspension problems. The turbocharged versions had even more trouble. Turbo engines cooked themselves, leading to blown gaskets and cracked manifolds. Repair bills often passed $2,000, and the cramped engine bay made every job harder. Recalls didn't help the reputation. The 2006 to 2008 models were recalled for electrical short circuits in the power windows, which created fire risks. Other recalls hit the fuel system and airbags. Mechanics avoided PT Cruisers because repairs were time-consuming and not worth the customer's money. The resale value collapsed so fast that even big repairs cost more than the car itself. By 2010, Chrysler killed the model for good. But if you think this small retro car was trouble, the next entry shows how one powerful engine design became a mechanic's worst enemy. For number 6, we're looking at Cadillac Northstar powered cars. This V8 beauty sounded like a dream in the 1990s. Smooth power, high tech, and big horsepower. But in the shop, it became one of GM's most infamous engines. Mechanics still shake their heads when these cars roll in. The biggest flaw? Head gaskets. The aluminum block and design caused bolts to pull out of the threads, leading to blown gaskets. Repairs were brutal, often $3,000 to $5,000, and many times the fix didn't hold. Some engines failed under 80,000 miles. Oil leaks were another constant headache. The rear main seal was notorious for dripping, and fixing it meant pulling the entire engine. That was a $2,000 job just for labor. Cooling systems also failed often, with water pumps, thermostats, and radiators giving out. Consumer Reports ranked Northstar Cadillacs like the Seville and DeVille near the bottom for reliability. Owners loved the smooth ride, but hated constant breakdowns. Resale values tanked, with some Cadillacs dropping below $2,000 within 10 years. Mechanics avoided them because every repair took too long and cost too much. Many shops simply told customers to junk the car. But as bad as this American V8 was, the next vehicle proves even new technology can give mechanics nightmares. Cracking the top 5, it's the Rivian R1T. This is the first electric vehicle to make our list, and it made history as the first all-electric pickup sold in the US. Sleek design, serious off-road ability, and jaw-dropping performance put it in the spotlight. But in repair shops, it's a different story. Being new doesn't mean being problem-free. Owners have already reported serious issues. In 2022, Rivian recalled almost all R1T trucks built that year, about 13,000 units, because of a loose suspension fastener. If it came apart, the driver could lose control. That's a major safety risk on a $70,000 truck. Software is another weak spot. Some drivers report sudden shutdowns, glitchy infotainment, and random warning lights. Unlike gas cars, these problems often require factory resets or updates, which only Rivian service centers can handle. Independent mechanics are locked out. Part supply is also thin. When a crash damages a body panel or battery pack, owners wait months. Insurance companies sometimes write off trucks for repairs that should have been fixable. Repair costs are massive too. A single battery replacement can run $20,000. Labor is tough because of the truck's unique layout. Many shops won't touch it at all. The R1T shows how even exciting new EVs can leave drivers stranded. And if you think new tech is risky, wait until we hit a brand with decades of baggage behind its badge. At number 4, we've got the Jaguar XF. The brand has long carried a reputation for luxury and style. But under that shiny badge, mechanics know the truth. These cars break often and cost a fortune to fix. The XF, launched in 2007, was supposed to modernize Jaguar. Instead, it carried forward the same old problems. Electrical faults were everywhere. Early XF models had failing dashboards, dead infotainment systems, and random warning lights. Consumer Reports ranked Jaguar near the bottom of its reliability charts year after year. The XF had multiple recalls for fuel leaks, faulty airbags, and brake system failures. Older models like the XJ and S-Type were no better. Their automatic transmissions were prone to failure, sometimes before 80,000 miles. Replacements could cost $6,000 or more. Cooling systems also caused constant trouble, with water pumps and thermostats failing far too soon. Mechanics avoid Jaguars because parts are overpriced, and access is awful. Even routine repairs can take twice as long as on other cars. Many shops send owners straight to the dealership, where bills climb even higher. Resale values collapse, with luxury sedans worth only a few thousand after a decade. Jaguars may look elegant, but for mechanics, they spell trouble. And yet, as costly as these cars are, the next German flagship takes complexity and repair bills to another level. Now at number 3, the BMW 7 Series. It's supposed to be the peak of German luxury, but the early 2000s E65 and E66 models became some of the most over-engineered sedans ever built. For mechanics, they're a nightmare. The iDrive system was one of the first of its kind. It controlled everything: navigation, climate, even the radio. But it was glitchy from day one. Owners complained of frozen screens, random resets, and system failures that left basic functions unusable. Consumer Reports rated these cars far below average for reliability. Then came the electronics. Over 70 control modules are buried in the car, and when one goes out, it can trigger a cascade of errors. Diagnosing problems takes hours. Repairs often cost thousands because parts must be coded to the car. Transmission and engine issues added more pain. Valve stem seal failures caused smoking exhausts. Replacing them could cost over $8,000 in labor. The automatic transmissions also developed harsh shifting and failure before 100,000 miles. Mechanics avoid the 7 Series because repairs take too much time and customers balk at the cost. Even today, a broken 7 Series can sit for months waiting for parts or coding. And if you think BMW's complexity is bad, the next German luxury SUV shows how Mercedes turned prestige into frustration. Coming in at number 2, the Mercedes-Benz ML Class and GL Class. Both of these SUVs promised comfort and status, but many from the early 2000s to the 2010s turned into shop regulars. Mechanics often call them some of the most troublesome SUVs ever built. One major issue was the balance shaft gear problem on the 2006 to 2008 models with the V6. The gears wore out early, sometimes before 60,000 miles. Repairs cost $4,000 to $6,000, and many engines had to be torn apart. The air suspension system, called Airmatic, was another weak link. Owners reported constant failures of struts, compressors, and valves. A single repair could cost $1,500, but repeat failures pushed bills even higher. Consumer Reports and J.D. Power both ranked these SUVs low for dependability. Electrical gremlins were everywhere. From window regulators to central command modules, the list of failures was long. NHTSA complaints pointed to stalling engines, faulty fuel systems, and airbags that didn't deploy. Mechanics avoid these SUVs because diagnosing them takes hours, and repairs are costly. Customers often refuse the work when they hear the price. Resale values tank fast, with once $70,000 SUVs dropping below $10,000 in a decade. But as messy as these SUVs are, the next car takes the crown. A luxury flagship so complex and expensive, even veteran mechanics don't want to touch it. And finally, number 1 goes to the Audi A8. On paper, it's a masterpiece lightweight aluminum body, advanced quattro all-wheel drive, and luxury features years ahead of rivals. But ask mechanics, and they'll tell you this car is a nightmare hiding under a polished badge. The aluminum frame that made it special also makes repairs nearly impossible. Even minor accidents require specialized tools and certified shops. A small dent could mean a $5,000 bill. Many body shops won't even take the job. Under the hood, timing chain tensioner failures plague the 4.2-liter V8 and W12 engines. These chains are at the back of the engine, so the entire motor has to come out for repairs. Cost? Often $8,000 to $12,000. The air suspension system is another weak point. Struts, compressors, and control modules fail at alarming rates. Each corner can cost $1,500 or more to replace. And when the system fails, the car can sink to the ground. On top of that, the electronics are a web of sensors, modules, and fiber optics. One bad module can shut down multiple systems, leaving even veteran mechanics scratching their heads. That's why many shops say no. The Audi A8 may be beautiful, but it's the ultimate money pit mechanics refuse to touch. These are the vehicles mechanics would rather avoid. But not all cars are nightmares. Some are built to last a lifetime. See them here in my next video. Cars that simply never break down.